Today we're making vegetable tostadas with a jalapeno avocado sauce. Tostada means toasted, and today we're going to actually bake them, but I tried a few different versions. I tried baked, I tried air frying, and I also tried pan frying. I don't love frying in my house, so I wanted to try a different option, and baked ended up the best because I could actually roast off the vegetables at the same time I was baking them, so I got a little 2-for-1 action. I'm Silu Sao, welcome to the Weekly Plant. Today's recipe is gluten-free because we're using gluten-free corn tortillas as our crispy, toasty base. And it's also packed with vegetables. Today we're using butternut squash, we're using zucchini, and we're using red bell pepper, but you could also use something like a mushroom on this base. You could use beans, you can use chicken, you can use shrimp. It's really super flexible and you can really get creative with it as well.
We're going to first start with our zucchini. We're going to trim the top off and put it aside. The key to cooking vegetables evenly is that you want them to be about the same size. So we're aiming for about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and we're going to just try to, I like to cut everything in half and then in half again and just sort of eyeball it so it looks pretty even. And I forgot to mention that I preheated the oven to 400 degrees ahead of time. We want to aim to dice the bell pepper about the same size as zucchini. So we're just going to cut around the core, and we're going to remove the white filaments if there are any, and we're going to just dice it into the same size as the zucchini and put it in the bowl. I like to use 3 different colors when I'm making this vegetable tostada just because it adds brightness and adds a little bit of flavor. So having a nice little trio is what I find the perfect number. I've saved the hardest to cut vegetable for last. You want to make sure that your cutting board is stable, and to do that you want to put a wet paper napkin underneath, and that's just a good trick all around. So what you saw is I scored the outside of like a ring around the butternut squash and then just cut through. I also am using a really good knife, and I'm sort of piercing through and then just cutting straight down. I only need about half of this butternut squash, so I'm going to work with the top half here. I'm going to take a peeler and just peel off that top outer layer that's hard and woody until I can see that beautiful bright yellow color that I'm looking for, and just make sure that I get all the little pieces off. I'm going to use a similar technique that I used on the zucchini, and I'm going to cut off a piece that's about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to lay it down and cut it in half, and then cut it in half again to just make sure that the pieces are even. And then I'm going to turn and just give it a quick dice. We're going to season our vegetables here with 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon oregano, which I forgot to show, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon chili powder, and then 1/4 teaspoon ground black pepper. And then we need 1 tablespoon of olive oil, which we're going to drizzle over the top of the vegetables. And then we're going to give it a quick stir to make sure that all the seasoning is incorporated. This is where all the flavor, most of the flavor for the vegetables will come from. Then place the vegetables on a rimmed baking sheet and bake for about 20 minutes at 400 degrees. And you'll know that the vegetables are done when a knife easily pierces through the butternut squash. The key to crispy tostadas in the oven is to use a baking sheet that also has a grate on top of it. And we're going to lay out 6 tortillas because that's all mine will fit at a time. If yours is larger, that's fantastic. And then just give it a spray with avocado oil or olive oil. And then you're going to want to flip them over and spray each of the tortillas one more time. And depending on the thickness of your tortillas, they could take anywhere between 6 to 10 minutes. the thicker they are, the longer they're going to need to crisp up. And I would just keep a close eye on them on those last few minutes. Our tostadas are just about done and crispy, but I want to add a little bit of extra cheese. So about 1 to 2 minutes before they're really crispy, I like to take them out, top them with some cheese, and then put them back in the oven for just another quick minute until the cheese is melted. We're going to make a quick jalapeno avocado sauce, starting with 2 jalapenos deseeded and chopped, half an avocado, 1 clove garlic, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then just whiz it together. We're going to pulse the jalapeno avocado sauce until a few chunks remain, and we're also going to add in 1/4 of a lime juiced, and then keep pulsing until you get to the consistency that you want, which is a little bit smooth and with just very few chunks. Our tostadas are done with some melted cheese on top, and I'm going to show you how to plate them. Our vegetables are also done. Again, the timing worked out really well, so we're going to take a tortilla with cheese and then scoop some of the trio of vegetables right on top. And you can put as much as you want. Having the cheese on helps the vegetables stay a little bit stuck to the tostada. And then you're going to dollop some jalapeno avocado sauce, and if you want, you can top it with some queso fresco and some cilantro as well.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video and want to see more videos like this, hit the like button and subscribe below, and we'll see you next week.